1, 2, 3.
Welcome to Arts and Leisure on the HAN Network. This is our weekly program featuring everything that is coming up in the area's music, arts, and entertainment scene. We will interview local artists, authors, musicians, and even some nationally recognized names who may be performing here in our area. We will have movie reviews and film suggestions from the real dad, Mark Schumann, and etiquette tips from Catherine Michaels. This is your all-access pass, and here are your hosts, Arts and Leisure editor Sally Sanders and our entertainment reporter Steve Coulter.
Welcome to Arts and Leisure on the HAN Network. I'm your host, Steve Coulter. I'm joined here on the couch, as always, with my co-host, Sally Sanders, and today we have a very special guest, New Canaan author and founder of Stepping Stones, Gigi Priebe. Welcome to the couch, Gigi. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much. Thanks for making it comfortable.
And the story is The Adventures of Henry Whiskers. Takes place over in England, where you lived for 2 years, correct?
Correct. It was a big adventure for us, and I'm glad the adventure continues.
All right, and so when did you start writing the book?
Oh boy, that was a long time ago. We moved over there in 2004, so I started writing probably in 2004. It was just scenes that came to mind, but over a long period of time, finally turned into a manuscript after about 8 years.
The setting is a wonderful, wonderful place, a dollhouse that's so incredibly detailed. It's in Windsor Castle, and it was created for Queen Mary.
That's right. That's Elizabeth's grandmother, who loved to collect miniature objects. And I think it was her niece who approached one of England's most famous architects in the early 20s, Edward Lutyens, with the idea of creating a dollhouse, something for her to put her collection in. And he took it to a whole other scale, and long story short, tapped all of England's artists and craftspeople and created a miniature mansion built on 1/12 inch scale with hot and cold running water, flushing toilets, the wine that the royal family drank in the wine cellar, everything. The royal portraitist did the paintings, and there's, I think, over 200 leather-bound books in the library of Queen Mary's Dollhouse, and each one was authored or illustrated by one of England's famous authors, whether that's A.A. Milne or Kipling. It's just incredible, and that was the inspiration for this story.
And you got to see that while you were over there.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yes. A lot of visitors came. We went into Windsor Castle a lot, and I was just intrigued by it anyway, and the world is, because it's a world-famous dollhouse.
And so you had the setting before you really determined what the story even was.
That's right. I joined a writing group on a whim when I moved over there, and one day I had the idea of a mouse or a family of mice living in that dollhouse, and my group encouraged me, and I just wrote scenes as they came to my mind, and I liken it to splatter paint. After a while, you have enough on the canvas and you can sort of see how you might connect the dots. And I came back here to Connecticut in 2006, 2007, and somebody had suggested I look up Patricia Riley Giff, who is a really well-known award-winning author who has taught workshops out of her store, The Dinosaur's Paw, for many, many years. And so I've done a number of those with her, and she was encouraging, as she always is, and here we are.
So you're interested in children. It goes back a long way. You have a degree in childhood education?
I do. My degree is in early childhood education, and I never used it in the formal sense. I never taught after getting my degree, but I get to say I applied it with the whole Stepping Stones Museum experience.
Yes. Well, and Stepping Stones Museum for Children, for people who don't know, is in Norwalk in Matthews Park. And it opened in 2000?
Exactly, March 11 of 2000.
And it's been going strong ever since. It must have been hard to leave it in 2004.
To leaving?
Leave your museum. And
Oh,
go to
you know
England.
what? I was tired.
You were tired. You felt like you'd...
In fact,
You
I
need
was
a
ready to
European
go somewhere and
vacation.
be anonymous. And I had left it in really good hands. The same director we hired, Rhonda Keast, is our director today. The museum has doubled in size. We bring in over 250,000 visitors a year. So it turned out all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'd been working on it for many years before it opened.
Yeah. obviously with a growing number of people. Fortunately, as you know, in Fairfield County, Connecticut, the human resources are incredible. So the idea hatched in early '92, and I surveyed, I think it was about 14,000 parents and educators in a 10-town area, and to see if they felt there was a need for resource that was dedicated to young children and the way they learn. And we got a 19% response rate, which is huge. And we incorporated, and the we became a bigger and bigger group of people. And so for me, it was an 8-year gestation period. For many, they hadn't heard of it until about 3 years or 2 years before it opened, when we really took our fundraising campaign public.
Now, do you feel the work that you did at the museum kind of helped shift, or shape, I should say, your work as an author at all? Or?
You know what? I wouldn't say it shaped it, but now that I'm having to think about it, and I think about having been involved with the book and the museum, I realize they really aren't very different from one another. They each provide a place for a child to go, a world of its own that a child can enter on their terms, at their pace, their learning style.
An escape into the adventure, so to speak, right?
Exactly. And hopefully each provides a positive experience. So with a museum, if you have a positive experience, you want to have that kind of experience again. So whether that means coming back to Stepping Stones, or going to the Maritime Aquarium, or a nature center, or who knows what. With a book, if they have a positive experience, hopefully they pick up another book and just keep on reading and develop that love of reading.
We had a big launch for the book on Saturday.
We
Huge
had
crowd,
a huge launch, and Stepping Stones was incredible. I'm humbled, to say the least, by what they did to help Henry and me launch in the world. We had,
There's a picture from Saturday, right?
There we go.
Yeah.
Yep. So they provided a pretty magical setting in the multimedia gallery. I gather the museum had 1,200 visitors, which is normally, that's a lot. One of the side benefits was we had Circle of Care, which is an organization that supports families that with children who have cancer, and we invited them to be there. I used to volunteer with them, and lots of people donated lots of books to them for kids who have to spend a fair amount of time in the hospital. So there were so many aspects of the day that were great. Children got to get a peek into Henry's world, and they got to make and take a lot of things that were thematically tied into the book. So I think it was a good day for Stepping Stones, a good day for Henry, a good day for Circle of Care, and a good day for those children.
That's all you can ask for, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Home run.
Now, you wrote the book, but the illustrations are done by Daniel Duncan, who's a British artist who you never got to meet, and you didn't really get to talk to a lot during the process of putting this together between your manuscript and his illustrations.
Yeah.
What was that process like?
Well, since this is my first book, I just been following my leader, the editor, and it's a little bit like going in blindfolded. I had no idea how long the various stages of publishing a book take. I knew that I was invited to comment on illustrations, but I also know that it's probably a much better known author who actually influences anything. But of course, I'm really happy with the outcome. I love the color palette, and we've been getting a lot of positive responses to it. So
It must take so much trust, though, to have your work kind of send off to somebody else that you don't know.
it's a good lesson.
Yeah, I was
No
going to say,
control.
everybody could use that, I think, right?
Trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So, and Henry will be coming back?
Henry's, how do you mean that?
He's going to be in another book.
He is going to be in another book.
The sequel.
Yeah. The sequel has been written. It's already gone through one round of revisions, and it's about to go through the next.
Same illustrator?
Yep, as far as I know. And hopefully it's coming out in this calendar year before Christmas, but they have not chosen a release date yet. So he's got another adventure. I hope he has many more. I hope I have it in me to cough up a few more.
How many years does a mouse
Does he go
live?
back? Does he go back through Rat Alley or no?
Don't ask how many years a mouse lives. We're in very slow motion. Yeah, you're asking for clues, huh?
Yeah.
All I can say is he and Jeremy get caught in the royal kitchens of Windsor Castle and are given the heave-ho.
Uh-oh.
So his adventure might take him to some new territory.
It sounds like it could be a movie idea. I know we kind of were talking about it off air. Do
Yeah.
you ever see it turning into a film or no?
You know, a number of people have said that, so yeah,
You'll take the opportunity, right?
I would. Yeah.
We'll have to start picking voices for it, too.
I was going to say, think of some actors.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
Exciting stuff.
yeah, it's been really exciting.
And do you have a website, Gigi, or no?
I do. It's my name, Gigi, Priebe, Priebe.com. And one of the fun things that I'm trying to build into that site, it's already started, is an opportunity for children to draw their rendition of Henry or Henry's World.
Oh, cool.
And send their pictures. Obviously, my thing is interactive, so that's why I teamed up with Stepping Stones to launch this, and honestly would love to try and make whatever book tour I have as interactive as possible, because especially as I've come to learn, not surprisingly, it's easier for the author of a picture book to go somewhere and read it cover to cover. For the youngest children, a middle grade book, you can't do that. So I was thinking,
And this is a middle grade book,
this is
7 to 8,
considered
10
a
years
middle grade
old.
book.
Right.
It's on the younger side of it, so 7 to 10, 6 to 10. But for venues that have the space and the inclination, whether that's a library or a bookstore, a school, or another children's museum, Stepping Stones and I just created an incredible template of interactive
How to
things.
do it, yeah.
Exactly. And that makes the whole experience that much more positive for my host site. Hopefully it helps them attract more people, and it brings a book to life. So,
And that's what
anything's
you're doing. That's
possible.
all you could ask for, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Gigi, thank you so
So-
much for coming on the couch and talking about the
Thank you so much.
book's opening last
Can
week.
I mention that I've got
Absolutely.
a book signing in New Canaan this
You
Sunday?
can.
Yep.
So at Elm Street Books in New Canaan, Connecticut, 35 Elm Street, from 3 to 5 p.m. is a book signing.
Good.
Thank
Excellent.
you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And we'll have you back on for the sequel, of course, right?
All right.
And the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You promise?
Promise.
All right, good.
Thank you so much, Gigi. We're going to head to our commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to be doing the Oscar forecasting. The nominations come out tomorrow morning.
Wow.
Get a fresh start to the new year by shaking up your meal routine. Walter Stewart's Market is your local source for a delicious selection of fresh and convenient salad shakers, like Southwest salad with chicken, Cobb with organic chicken, Power Vegan with fruit and quinoa, Greek salad with tabbouleh, and grilled shrimp with hominy. Grab one from our salad case or order from our deli today. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
It's all about meeting goals this year, and Trinity CrossFit of Ridgefield has experienced trainers, top-of-the-line equipment, and a newly renovated space to help get you there. Offering more classes per day than any other CrossFit gyms in the area, we cater to all fitness levels. Our coaches have a combined 10 years of experience in CrossFit, and as competitors themselves, Trinity coaches can get you ready for competition in 2017. Visit our convenient location on Route 7, Danbury Road, or find out more at trinitycrossfit.com.
Whether you're looking for the freshest seafood, the perfect steak, or want to share delicious appetizers, look no further than the Stone's Throw in Seymour. Chef Peter Hom has more than 30 years of experience creating original recipes in his American eclectic style. Our dishes are made from scratch with fresh, local ingredients that pair perfectly with a seasonal craft beer, a signature cocktail, or your favorite wine. When you visit our Riverside location, you'll feel like you're on vacation when you're only a stone's throw from home. Visit us on Roosevelt Drive in Seymour or at StonesThrowCT.com.
Are you ready for winter? Ski and Sport has everything you need to be fully outfitted for the season. A family-owned and operated business with over 40 years of experience, Ski and Sport's 3 convenient locations in Fairfield County offer top-quality, high-fashion ski and winter wear. In addition to clothing for men, women, and children, we also offer seasonal rentals for the entire family. Stop by our stores on 1 Ethan Allen Highway in Ridgefield, 877 Post Road East in Westport, and at 110 Main Street in New Canaan, or visit us at skiandsport.net.
Give your day a jumpstart with the latest news, sports, weather, and more on Coffee Break, live on the HAN Network, weekdays at 11 a.m. Connecticut news doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break.
Welcome back to Arts and Leisure on the HAN Network. This is one of our favorite days of the year. It's the day before Oscar nominations. We're joined on the couch with Mark Schumann. In the first segment here, we're going to talk about 4 award categories: Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Original Screenplay and Best Adapted Screenplay. We'll do the actors second, but we'll start with the films, which is always, I guess, the biggest headline is what films made it, which films didn't. How many films, I think, is the real question. Are we going to get 8, 9, 10,
And
7?
they have this kind of quirky preferential voting system that we've talked about
Yes,
before. And so they do this thing where everybody ranks their choices.
Right.
And then if you get 5%
And that's how a movie like Argo wins is.
If you get 5% of the voting population rate you as number 1, you're automatically a Best Picture nominee. So they put all the votes in little stacks, I guess, and if you get 5%, then you're in, then you're in, then you're in. Then if they don't fill the slate with at least 5, they start doing the same thing with everyone's second choice and on and on. So they can vote up to 10. So part of if you were in an Oscar pool, one of the great questions is, how many nominees are there going to be? So I'm going out on the limb this year and saying we're going to have 9.
9. That
unless
seems to be
they
the
get
general
really
consensus.
quirky and add Deadpool, which will make it 10.
And 10 would be the max.
And they've
10's
only
the
had
max.
10 once, correct? And that was the first year, 2009, when it started this trend after The Dark Knight got snubbed.
Right.
in
And
2009.
every year I keep hoping they'll go back to
5.
the old-fashioned 5 movies, because what happens is you kind of in the 8, 9, or 10 you have like the real possibilities, and then
Well, that's
they're
what I was
just
saying
in
to
there.
Sally in the car right over here. Is Deadpool? It would be great if it got a nomination, but it really has no chance of winning the award. So what's the real
Well, so
purpose of
you
having
do
it?
have to say, why are they doing this?
Right.
And they're doing this because there are more pictures then that can claim.
Would there be
for
a
nominee for
better
Best Picture.
announcement tomorrow if it's just 5?
It would.
I think our jaws
because it
would
would be
collectively
back
drop.
to the way that
Yeah.
it once was.
If it just
And-
happened to be that it was just La La Land,
But they're not
Moonlight.
going to, because, as you said,
No.
it helps the box office.
No, and
Absolutely.
it is inclusive, and that enables more films to be honored, which is great. And this year, I think it would be tough if we only had 5 slots, because there really are 7 good movies.
So
But
the
we're
3
go-
favorites, the locks are La La Land, Moonlight, and Manchester by
and I
the
think
Sea.
we're going to hear those over and over
Yeah.
tomorrow morning when the nominations are announced,
La La Land will probably lead the pack with the most.
because it will do well below the line in all the technical
Sure.
categories
Mm-hmm.
as well as above the line. I think Moonlight will do better below the line than Manchester will,
Mm-hmm.
because Manchester is primarily a script-driven movie,
Yeah, it's
an
pretty
actor-driven movie.
straightforward.
So it won't be in like
Costume
cinematography,
design, right,
costumes,
yeah.
Music.
maybe not even film editing. But Moonlight we will see
Film
it
editing,
in more.
Moonlight should take home, I think.
We
yeah.
will see in more of those categories. But I think we'll hear those 3 names a lot.
So why don't you take us through 4 through 9?
Okay,
in
so
your
those
list.
3. And then
Who's
I do
4, actually, I guess
Yeah.
is the real question. That's what I was thinking about on the ride up here.
So I do think Arrival. I'm not
I would love
necessarily
Arrival,
a
yeah.
fan of the film, but it is this year's crossover hit. Kind of like last year it was The Martian.
Mm-hmm.
I always play this game called what would the development meeting have been like when someone came in to pitch the movie? And I think someone came in and pitched that movie as it's Gravity meets Close Encounters, because you have the 2 stories happening at the same time. So, but it has done extremely well at the box office, and it won the National Board of Review, and a lot of people love it.
And
So that'll
sci-fi
be
kind of has like a tentpole
Yeah.
in this Best Picture. I think it's
So-
like 5 of the last 7 years there's been a sci-fi movie nominated.
So I think we'll see that.
Yep.
I think we'll see Lion. I think that it has certainly hit a chord.
Yep.
And when Garth Davis was nominated for the Directors Guild,
We were
that
talking
certainly
about him
helped
last
that.
week, Garth Davis.
Yeah.
First time director, right? Or second time?
Second time.
Yeah.
Then I think we'll see Hidden Figures. Hidden Figures because it's a very entertaining film, and also it wins this year's award for best possible timing because it opened, it beats or ties with Rogue One in its first weekend, and that's right when the Oscar voters are casting
And
their
it's not
ballots.
like we're going to get shut out of the historical dramas. If you don't have Sully and you don't have Jackie in there, this is the historical drama slot is going to be going to Hidden Figures.
So I think we'll see that, and I actually think that we'll see Hacksaw Ridge.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
You know, it's a film that really sneaks up on you. Not necessarily the most lighthearted film. It's certainly an uplifting film ultimately, and it reminds us that Mel Gibson really
direct.
does know how to make a movie. He really does know how to make a movie.
Yeah.
Knows how to direct. So I think those are the 9.
And he's been forgiven now.
I don't know. If he's,
So Fences is not on your
and
list.
I did know it. And Fences is there. So,
So
it's-
Fences is 9?
in alphabetical order, it's Arrival,
Yep.
Fences, Hacksaw Ridge, Hell or High Water,
We missed that one, yep.
Hidden Figures, La La Land, Lion, Manchester by the Sea, and Moonlight. So
And
that's 9.
So Ned, no Deadpool.
Okay.
Now I think that if it sneaks in, but I look for Deadpool to be in the screenplay
And what about you, Sally?
competition.
Well, what Mark said, yeah. But also, one of the ones that was coming up on my radar was Loving.
Loving, yeah. I was going to say, I think
That's
Loving
Such a
knocks off
lovable-
Fences.
It's such a marvelous film, but I just
If you're going to talk about a
it's
movie
so
about
quiet.
a relationship,
It
Loving
is-
or
Yeah.
Fences,
It is
one of them
quiet,
will
but
get in.
I'm just wondering if the political atmosphere in Hollywood has an effect on which films are chosen and
always has an effect, and you don't know, especially after last year.
yeah.
So.
But whether that might not come in as something that people just want to feel good. I mean, I think that's why Hidden Figures is doing so well, is people want something that says we're really good people.
Well, and also Hidden Figures takes a little known moment in history and it makes it entertaining.
Yeah.
And it has these rich characters and it has an uplifting story and it has the period. I think, if you compare it to Loving is a more serious film. It's a very quiet film. It doesn't necessarily have a lot of dialogue, and so you do, as a viewer, have to work a little harder
Yeah.
to connect with it. Hidden Figures is right there. And Hidden Figures benefits from its timing. Can't say enough about it.
Would you
Yeah.
say, because of the timing with Hidden Figures, that it's the best of the 4 through 9 slot of upsetting in the Best Picture category? And can we get a Best Picture upset, or is it just going to be between La La Land and Moonlight?
I think that, after we get past tomorrow, then we can start to forecast what we think is actually going to
Sure.
happen. Because what happens is, it's like any other race. You get into the finals, and it's a new day.
Yeah.
And I would
Argo
love-
is the perfect example of that. When it was nominated, no one would have thought on nomination day that it would win Best
Yeah.
Picture.
Yeah.
And if you go back, you would love to be able to see the vote totals over
Yeah.
the years. Like if we were going to have
They should have a book on
if we
that.
were going to have hacking, why couldn't we have had
Yeah.
that hacking?
Yeah.
Because that's
Instead
the kind
of
of
Sony Pictures, yeah.
that kind of vote total would have been fascinating to say. Wow, she only won by 1 vote. We'll never know. So you don't know how much changes between who gets in tomorrow's announcement first versus where the Oscar finally goes.
Is there any movie, before we move on to director, that's going to just come out of left field and shock that we haven't talked about? Because I saw Silence last weekend and I loved it. I thought it was very powerful. Not an Oscar movie, I don't think, though. I don't think it would come out of left field either because it's Scorsese, but
I think that the spoiler would be Deadpool. I think
Deadpool,
that if
right.
it's kind of like last year, there was speculation, but oh no, I can't really believe it could happen when Mad Max did as well as it did. It didn't come from left field; it came noisily from right field. But it was surprising because you didn't necessarily consider it an Oscar film.
there was a moment
serious
watching the
film,
show
yeah.
last year that I thought Mad Max was
Could
going to win
because
Best
it was
Picture.
winning so much below
Yeah.
the line. And so I think Deadpool caught people by surprise when it's a part of this conversation. And I think they've had a lot of fun with it. They had a lot of fun with this ad that they created and such things. So I think that would be the surprise if we hear anything.
So let's move on to director. Barry Jenkins and Damien Chazelle are kind of the leading of the pack. Jenkins did Moonlight, Chazelle did La La Land.
And then Kenneth Lonergan.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
you'll see the same
Those
trio.
three, right. A couple years ago, Foxcatcher got a nomination for Bennett Miller, which wasn't nominated for Best Picture. Is there a chance that we see a director get one of those 5 slots that's not necessarily nominated in the Best Picture category?
I love Foxcatcher, and I think at that point I was more surprised that it was not in the running for Best Picture than I was
That he won
that
or
he
was
in
nominated
there.
for, yeah.
And he had been in there before. I think tomorrow those 5 will likely be.
And Mel Gibson could be one of them.
I doubt it. I think I would go with Garth Davis. I would
For
follow
Lion.
Garth Davis and then
Denis Villeneuve.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For Arrival.
Yep.
I think that's maybe going right along those lines. But the Academy Directors Branch loves to be quirky.
That's what I'm thinking.
And they love to do these things.
Mike Mills for 20th Century Women. I just saw it 2 nights ago. I thought he directed the movie's masterfully done. It's well written and really well directed.
I love that film. It disappoints me that it's not getting more talk.
Yeah.
I
I feel like the last 2 movies I've seen, Silence and 20th Century Women, are 2 of the best I've seen this year, but they just don't have the Oscar push for whatever reason.
How about Pablo Larraín for Jackie?
Jackie is a mystery to me because when I saw it, and it was kind of early on, I was so taken by it, and I really expected it to just buzz its way through everything, and it really hasn't. And I hope that she's still in the running after tomorrow because I think she's fabulous. I think what he does visually,
and she is Natalie Portman, of course.
Yeah,
we'll talk about her in the second segment when we.
But I don't know. There could be something really quirky tomorrow in this category, and I don't know if I know what it is.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It could be a
is.
curveball, like
they're doing a different thing with the announcement in the morning for those who
6:15, right?
Who love to watch the announcement. But for several years, they have had the announcement in the Samuel Goldwyn Theater at the Academy headquarters. And the fun was that all the publicists were sitting there, and you would hear the gasps like, so-and-so, so-and-so. Well, they've taken the nomination announcement out of that setting, and it's just going to be somebody announcing it, but there won't be an audience there. So we won't get the benefit of Hollywood gasping, and I think I'll miss that.
Without being too self-indulgent, I have to just throw one name out there as a dark horse for director. Clint Eastwood. Any chance?
I don't think so. I think we would see Mel Gibson before that.
Okay.
I think Mel Gibson could be he could be the Clint Eastwood factor from a different year. There were years that Clint came back and we didn't expect him, like the American Sniper year.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, exactly.
I think this year that slot, if you will, would be Mel, because I don't think people thought he had necessarily another picture in him, and I don't think they expected this picture. This could have been the most conventional war movie ever made, and what he does, because of the very creative choices he makes, is he makes a film that really does hit you. This film does what Angelina Jolie tried to do with Unbroken.
That's good to hear. I was going to say, Hacksaw Ridge is the only one I have not seen of that list of movies. I'm going to use the director category to pivot here. One movie we didn't discuss as much in the Best Picture is Hell or High Water. Taylor Sheridan's script has a real chance of taking home the original screenplay. Does he have a chance of the director? Let's talk a little bit about original screenplay and directing.
I think that he could. I love the fact that this film is in the
getting discussion.
It's in the conversation because it's a few months old.
Yep.
It's a very quiet film.
Came out at the end of the summer.
When you first saw the trailer for it, you weren't quite sure what it was going to be. Was this going to be kind of a revisit to No Country for Old Men?
It's
going back to Marfa, Texas.
I found it profoundly deeper, though.
I just loved it because it had these 2 stories happening at the same time. You have this relationship between the brothers, and then you have this man adjusting to getting older. And those 2 stories and how they intersect. And then that powerful sequence toward the end on the patio.
Oh, it's great.
It's just one of the great scenes.
Best.
It's right there in the backyard with Al Pacino and Marlon Brando. And so it's such a strong film, and I've been thrilled. If there was going to be, back to the what if, I think when we get to the discussion of who wins, a real factor will be the potential La La Land exhaustion, or La La Land fatigue, or La La Land second look. I actually think a movie like Hell or High Water could benefit from that. And this could be a year where something comes from the back of the pack that we don't expect, kind of like in the Kentucky Derby. One year that reminds me of is the year Mel Gibson won for Braveheart.
I've heard that
nobody saw coming.
Yeah, I've heard that comparison a couple times.
In fact, one of the great stories about Braveheart is that it hadn't done well in its first release. So they brought it back to theaters, at a time when most movies would have gone straight to DVD. And that put it in a position to be thought of at Oscar time. And I think that we may see Hell or High Water benefit from the fact that it has been so consistently appreciated over the months.
Real quick before we go to a commercial break, original screenplay. Who's getting the nominations tomorrow?
Well, the interesting thing is that the different awards are defining original screenplay in different ways. So the Writers Guild, I think it is, actually considers Moonlight original, even though Moonlight comes from a play.
It will be adapted in the Oscars,
so, for original screenplay, the 5 that I would pick would be Captain Fantastic.
I've heard that mentioned.
Another movie from early in the year.
You didn't want to see it either, I remember that.
I just loved it. Hell or High Water, Jackie, La La Land, and Manchester by the Sea. That leaves out 20th Century Women.
Oh, that'd be terrible. It would be terrible to see that get
so
snubbed.
if I had my druthers, I would put it in, but then one of the others would have to drop out.
So we can't have 6 nominees, unfortunately.
I think if
I'm rooting for
would
Mike
happen,
Mills.
I think Jackie would drop out.
I'm rooting for Mike Mills to get that nomination. And real quick, adapted screenplays. Moonlight is a favorite.
Moonlight,
obviously in that category.
Lion,
right.
Fences.
Arrival, and then I would put in Hidden Figures unless it's surprised by Deadpool.
There you go.
Yep.
All right, we'll be back in our second segment. We'll talk about the acting categories and in preparation for tomorrow's Oscar nominations.
Have a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Basketball, hockey, skiing, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark Building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Want a new experience in car buying? No aggravation, no confrontation, just answers to all your questions. Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Car buying the way you want it to be. With one of the largest selections of new 2- and 4-door Jeep Wranglers available, we are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Located in Fairfield, Connecticut, we're easy to get to. Just 2.5 miles off the Merritt Parkway, exit 44 via Route 58 South. Save thousands right now during the Start Something New sales event, now through January 31st.
Are you looking for new opportunity this year? How does growing a business with unlimited income potential sound? Christy Kinsman is a local entrepreneur building a global health and wellness business in Fairfield County. Offering cutting-edge anti-aging skincare, all botanically based and paraben-free, and a complete vegan, clean-eating nutritional plan, Christy's looking for business partners that can help get others healthier while taking advantage of an untapped market. Take that first step to freedom from the 9-to-5 grind by learning more about the products and our mentorship program. Contact Christy at thelittlehouseshop@yahoo.com.
While there's still a bite out on the water, most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
Discover a world of wellness in the heart of New Canaan. Halo Studios, New Canaan's first collaborative wellness center, offers you the freedom to choose from the best and latest health, fitness, and wellness options. Inside Halo Studios, you'll find all the wellness experts you need at places like Halo Fitness, Priority Wellness, and Sama Yoga Center. Come by for a free wellness assessment, open 7 days a week at 45 Grove Street. For more information, visit halostudios.com or call 203-594-9909.
Hi, I'm Denise Figuergoli, host of The Drive, here every Tuesday on the HN Network. It's about how you fuel your mind, your body, your spirit that creates the life you live, with people, places, ideas, and organizations that move us forward mindfully and consciously. Tune into The Drive here on the HN Network, Tuesdays at 12:30.
Welcome back to Arts and Leisure on the HN Network. We're going to break down the 4 acting categories before the nominations come out tomorrow morning in Hollywood. We'll start with supporting actor, where Aaron Taylor Johnson took home the biggest surprise at the Golden Globes, winning the supporting actor. Is there a chance he's not even on the list tomorrow when the nominations are
You don't know
presented?
because, again, the Globes are the Globes, voted by 90 people. The fact that he was not on the nominee list for the Screen Actor Guild Award you do have to say, what does that mean? Not that they always match, because the Screen Actors Guild is a much larger voting pool than the acting branch of the Academy. But certainly he's a name that we need to pay attention to. That's a film.
And he's in Tom Ford's Nocturnal Animals.
And that's a film
Right.
that we could hear more about tomorrow that maybe no one quite expected to hear something about.
I think right now it has that, people would think it's like, oh, it was just nominated for the Golden Globes because the Globes are weird, but it could be a serious contender.
You just never know. You just never know. But I think supporting actor is a category where there could be some surprise.
Yeah.
So not Mahershala Ali for Moonlight.
He'll be in there. He has to be in there. He has to be in there. I think that Jeff Bridges has to be in there. I think Dev Patel is a pretty sure thing from my book. Then I think it gets interesting. I'd love to see Ben Foster, who plays one of the brothers in Hell or High Water.
And he's so long overdue, too. He's one of the best.
I just love to see him. That would be such a thrill.
Yeah.
And then I really like Lucas Hedges,
Yeah.
who's the young man in Manchester by the Sea. But I think this is the category there's room for surprise for Aaron Taylor Johnson or Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner.
Would be nominated for the first time since Dances with Wolves.
We're about to have a Costner answer.
And it wouldn't necessarily be surprising. It's a tailor-made role for him. He reminds us why he's been a fixture for so many years. And again, that movie benefits from its excellent sense of timing. So I think that category it could be all over the place.
Sally, you got to see Kevin Costner in
Yes.
Hidden Figures. Did you think while watching it Oscar nomination potential?
No, I didn't. I didn't think Oscar nomination for anyone in that film. I thought they were all excellent.
So not even Octavia Spencer in supporting actress?
No, I mean she was. It wasn't. To me, there was nothing special about it. It was a great film. I enjoyed it. I cried. It was. And Kevin Costner did.
Kevin Costner things, yeah.
The decent guy, chewing gum, terse, heart of gold.
But I think it could happen, and that's the category. I mean, after they nominated Sylvester Stallone in this category last year, anything can happen.
Sure.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, anything.
Supporting actress, Viola Davis seems to be running away with this one. She's the biggest favorite of any of the actors to win any of the awards.
I think the only surprise tomorrow would be if the Academy says, we really think that's a lead actress part, and we're going to put you in the lead category.
Oh man, that would make that category even more loaded.
Does the Academy get to choose?
Yeah, they get to choose.
Okay.
An actor or a studio or a film may say, we recommend that you consider this performer in this category, but they violated that before. A few years ago when Kate Winslet won for The Reader, she had been, as Best Actress, she'd been campaigning for Best Supporting
right,
Actress.
I remember that.
And at the same time, she was campaigning for Best Actress for Revolutionary Road. And so the Academy said, we're going to put you into that category. And she ultimately won. So I think that when you look at Fences, Viola Davis really is a very rich supporting, but it is a supporting.
And do you agree with Sally's assessment that Octavia Spencer is going to be left out in the supporting actress?
I think Octavia will be in there.
You think she will?
I think she does her thing, and she's beloved, and it gives us a way to honor her when she should have been nominated for Fruitvale Station, and I expect to see her in there.
I just thought with the three characters, Taraji Henson and Janelle Monáe and she, they were pretty equal, but of the three, I would have said Taraji was the one who really carried it.
If we were going to see an upset, it would be Taraji in the Best Actress category, which would be wonderful to see because she's so good. But that category is
loaded.
Just so crowded.
Should we pivot there right now?
For the first time in years.
You've got Amy Adams from Arrival. You have Natalie Portman with Jackie. You have Meryl Streep, who is more than likely going to get nominated, although that would be a storyline within itself if she gets bumped.
Right. Emma Stone.
Yeah, Emma Stone, who
Land.
I think is the favorite right now in that category.
And then I would pick Isabelle Huppert,
who won the Golden Globe, right?
That leaves out
Annette Bening from 20th Century.
Wonderful Annette Bening.
Crazy.
And because
what about Ruth Negga from Loving too?
Yeah, but Annette Bening is the heartbreaker here because for those of us who love Annette Bening and have thought other years she should have won, when I first saw this film, I thought, finally, it's going to happen. But to be honest, it's an ensemble piece. It's not totally
we forgot to mention
film.
Greta Gerwig in the supporting actress.
And
she's excellent.
the film hasn't gotten a lot of attention, so I fear that she'll be overlooked.
Is there any way we can get it more attention?
I don't know between now and tomorrow. They've
dang.
already counted the votes. But for whatever reason, that film just, I don't know if it's because it was released late, it was released when things were crowded, but
It's really good. I'd recommend it. Mike
wonderful
Mills.
film.
Did that come out Christmas Day? Is that one of the ones?
Yeah, and they kind of pushed it, and it's just a little bit. It's too bad. It's really too bad.
We're going to do the last one without your notes, which just fell on the floor.
Yeah.
Best actor, Casey Affleck is the front runner. Denzel is the challenger in second.
And I think Denzel, not only does he recreate and preserve a fabulous performance from the stage in Fences, he also will get points, if you will, because he was behind this film getting made. And these days, for a stage show to actually even be made into a movie is pretty rare, and for it to be preserved as it's made is even more rare. So I think he will get those points as well.
Is there any hope that this is the year Ryan Gosling wins the Academy Award? He'll be. I think those are the three locks in the category.
I think he will be in there.
Right.
I don't know if he wins. I think it's tough for an actor to win for a musical or for a comedy. I would hope to see Viggo Mortensen in tomorrow because he, first of all, is just a great actor, and secondly, he shows such a range and such an arc in Captain.
It's an amazing movie, right?
How about Andrew Garfield?
And I think that'll be the fifth.
For Hacksaw Ridge or for Silence?
For Hacksaw Ridge. Andrew Garfield, we've known he had it ever since The Social Network. I think that in Hacksaw Ridge, a lesser actor would not have made the story work. Because he invests so much in the front half of the film, he makes us believe in the second half of the film. And the whole sequence toward the end of heroism is pretty much without dialogue. It's all in his body, it's all in his face, and it's a masterful performance. And you thank him for that, and you also have to thank his director, Mel Gibson. So this is going to be a very interesting category.
I
think
have a
Casey
question
Affleck,
for you on Andrew Garfield, though. Does his really strong performance in Silence influence voting for Hacksaw Ridge?
It always helps to.
I think it has, having
two strong.
Right.
You just don't want to have so many strong performances that they cancel each other out.
Okay.
Like the most famous example, and I was watching one again last evening, 1967, a long time ago, Sidney Poitier in the same year makes Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, In the Heat of the Night, and To Sir with Love. And
how dare he?
How dare he in 1 year? And the common thought was that he simply split his own vote and he wasn't nominated for any of them. Which, looking back, is really hard to believe.
Yeah.
So you can suffer, but like Amy Adams, the fact that she was so good at Nocturnal Animals has to help when I'm going through and
thinking of Arrival.
Her. Yeah.
Okay.
Joel Edgerton for Loving. We mentioned Ruth Negga.
So good.
If Loving is gets the Best Picture nomination, you'd think that the actors might be represented as well in there.
Yeah, he could sneak in there,
Yeah.
but I don't see
lead.
Lead.
I don't see as much playing in this category.
So you think this is a copy of the
If we were
Golden
going to see a
Globes?
surprise, I think it would be Jake Gyllenhaal.
For Nocturnal.
Yeah.
And no Tom Hanks as Sully?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, it would be so good to have Tom Hanks versus Denzel, though.
And the trouble is, if Tom Hanks a few years ago wasn't going to be nominated for Captain Phillips, which is of his later performances,
it's really good.
Just such a good one. I don't think it's going to happen for this one.
I would agree with that.
You know, but you just never know. You just never know.
All right, real quick, in a tweet format, one headline that's going to come out of tomorrow that will surprise people.
I think they're going to be. I think we will see. Tweet. Okay. I think we're going to see a more diverse collection of nominees than we have seen in past years, which is good. But it also reflects the fact that we've had a more diverse collection of movies this year. And so this truly will be a reflection of the movie year that we've had.
Yeah.
We've had a fabulous movie year. It started off really slowly. I think we were talking in the summer that we couldn't imagine one movie from the first half of the year that we would remember. And all of a sudden, starting in late August, they started coming, bing, bing, bing. And we have too many good films in every category. So I think it will be all about diversity tomorrow. And that reflects the diversity of the movies that we've seen.
Sally, real quick.
overrated actress gets, I don't know what the number of nominations.
Oh, 19, Meryl Streep.
No, I think it's actually number 20.
20.
I went back and
I'm going
counted
the
again.
opposite way on this. I think the big headline is Meryl gets
Snubbed?
Yeah,
believe it or not.
I don't think so.
Stay tuned. We'll have a show next week. We're going to do a kind of a recap of the nominations. Thank you for watching the forecast this week. We'll be back on the couch next Monday. Thanks for watching.
It's all